Yes, welcome to Keeping Score, ladies and gentlemen. Whether you are watching or listening, thank you for spending your Monday afternoon with us here at Keeping Score. Mason Stein in studio, ladies and gentlemen. Mason, you're famous. How do you feel?
Feels great. Feels great to be on top. What can I say?
So, oh my God. One sec, I gotta turn the volume off. Look at this. We hear ourselves.
Reverb.
Oh my God. Okay, so we had to restart the stream because the last one didn't work. We've been on vacation. I missed the studio. I have not been here in like 2 weeks, and the week before Christmas, terrible sports week, absolutely awful. Nothing happened, and then you go away, and then of course you had Cavs Warriors. You had all the Christmas basketball games. You had the last 2 weeks of the NFL season with all the
crazy football scenarios.
Right, with all the playoff implications, and you had the one and only UFC 207. And I had to go live from the beach for that because I had to.
Yeah, we tuned in.
Yes,
we saw their predictions. Some wrong, some right.
Yes, I had to go live live from the beach. How else are you going to do it?
Actually, you picked every fight wrong, didn't you?
I did. Yes, that's right.
It's okay, we get better.
I even had the favorites too. I wasn't like I wasn't trying to be contrarian.
Except
and
Lineker.
Like I got them all
I think you did say Lineker based on Rob's.
Yeah, was Lineker the favorite in that fight?
No, Dillashaw was.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Heavy favorite.
Right. Okay. So, but that one I didn't even know. And the Rousey Nunes fight, I said this is the most unpredictable fight of the year. Like I don't know. Like, and I did get this right. Okay, if I were in Vegas and I was betting Rousey Nunes, the bet I would have made was whatever the prop bet was with how long the fight was going to go. I was going to take the under on that. Right. So I would have made money if I went to Vegas. I would have made money. That's what would happen.
Yeah, I think most people were thinking nobody had any idea who was going to win, but wasn't getting out of the first round.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
Didn't even get out of the first minute.
Have a lot of people been, because there are a lot of people who have, very outside, they just don't follow MMA very closely.
Random people talking about Ronda.
Yeah. But you have the randoms. Yeah. You have the people who didn't watch still talking about UFC 207. Of course. Has anyone came up to you and been like, because this has happened to me, and everyone they go like, oh, so what happened to Ronda Rousey? Like, why, what happened there? How did that happen?
Yeah, my dad texted me after the fight. He said, who won? I said Ronda got TKO'd or KO'd 48 seconds. He was like, what? He loves Ronda Rousey. We were in Florida, and they had all the reloaded because everyone's hyping up Ronda. We saw her win probably 5 times in the first minute. Kat Zingano, Miesha Tate, she's killing everybody with arm bars, and then you get Holly Holm kicked to the head, and it's all downhill from there. Or maybe it's uphill.
But what have you been telling people? Like, people were like, hey, Mason, what happened in the fight? What have you been telling people?
I don't think anybody's really said that to me except, I guess I really haven't explained it to anybody except right now, but nobody knows Amanda Nunes. Nobody knew there's some Brazilian girl on the poster. Nobody even knew she was a champion. She was getting absolutely no respect from anybody.
Right.
But if you look, she completely dismantled Miesha Tate when she was a champion. Anybody who's seen Amanda Nunes knows she's no joke. Mm-hmm. So that's why the betting line wasn't that crazy.
No, it wasn't.
It was Holly Holm when she fought Ronda. It was like plus 700. Nunes was plus 220 maybe. Could have even been less.
Yeah, it was something like that. The odds were close.
Yeah, so
but it's interesting. So all the noise pre-fight, right? Because I have been asked that question, and I haven't really known what to tell people. A lot of people after the fight said, "See, I told you so. Her mind wasn't right." There were all these red flags about Ronda maybe not even wanting to fight, not wanting to be in the octagon. She was scared. She was she was protecting herself. She knew she was going to lose, so she didn't do media, so she could say I wasn't in it. Whatever. A lot of people talking about that surrounding noise. And the reason I picked Ronda is because I said, screw all that the media needs something to talk about. So they're finding things to talk about. Okay? Forget all that. Ronda Rousey, the most dominant champion of all time. I'm going to go with her. A lot of people after the fight say, "I told you so." So that's what happened. It's all mental. I still can't go there. You need to take a look at, right? Don't you have to look at Ronda Rousey's skills right now and wonder, because she looked like the same Ronda that we saw in the Holly Holm fight. Maybe the sport was evolving and Ronda wasn't, and now this is actually, and now, Ronda has a skill problem, not a mental problem.
That's exactly what it is. I think above anything, she has a coaching problem. Yeah, Edmund, whatever his name is, her coach. I think he makes her think that she can stand up and strike. Because if you watch the Holly fight, how many times did she try to take it down? Not that many. She wanted to strike. Just like here, she went for like a half-assed takedown 30 seconds in that nothing happened, but she came out ready to strike. What I said before the fight, I said Ronda needs to go out there and go straight for a judo throw. Go straight into the clinch. Don't let Amanda Nunes strike.
Yeah.
And Ronda threw 3 kicks. She threw a body kick and then that weird oblique kick that everybody tries to do. That she said that was part of the game plan coming in. They wanted to be a better striker. You have to do what you're good at. She was so good at submissions, judo. You can't stand up and strike with Amanda Nunes.
Now, her coach, Edmund, is a boxing coach.
He's a hooligan. He's a goon.
Well, she tried to clinch. I counted 3 times she tried to clinch.
But I think she was already
and she failed all 3 times. I agree. Amanda Nunes, here's the thing. And this is actually one of my favorite Joe Rogan points of all time. Okay? Conor McGregor gets choked out by Nate Diaz, okay? And then everyone goes, "Oh, Conor's jiu-jitsu is terrible. Conor has no jiu-jitsu. He's a white belt, right? Because he gets choked out." And Rogan is like, "That's ridiculous. That's like if someone gets punched in the face really hard and starts walking funny, hey, you got to work on your walking. you don't walk right." It's like, yeah, when you get punched in the face, things happen. So basically, what happened in that fight? Amanda Nunes rocked Ronda with a jab like 13 seconds in.
You could see it in her feet. How her feet came. She was hard, heavy on her feet. Her feet were close together. That's not where you want to be. And her head wasn't moving at all. Did you hear the tape of Edmund yelling?
Oh, it was so funny.
Head movement.
Clinch.
And then just turned into no disbelief, and Amanda had to tell him to shut up.
Yeah. We're going to get to the whole post-fight reactions. We're going to break down what Nunes did after the fight, what Rousey did after the fight, and we're going to take a look at what Dominic Cruz did after the fight. But it was definitely a case where people were spending too much time analyzing what Rousey was going to do. People forgot that Amanda Nunes is probably the most powerful boxer in the women's bantamweight division, and she might be the one to have the first lengthy championship reign since Ronda Rousey. Could you see Nunes having that run? Because I'm looking at that division. So Holly Holm moved up to 145. We're not going to be hearing from Ronda. Miesha Tate, whose skills were, we saw what Nunes did to her.
Yeah, a little washed up.
She's gone. So you have like Raquel Pennington and Shevchenko.
She's not bad.
She could be interesting. So we'll see what happens with her. But all of a sudden, without Ronda, last year, at the beginning of the year when Ronda lost, we were thinking, oh my God, Miesha Tate, Holly Holm, Ronda Rousey, what a stacked division. This division's crazy. And now we're looking at Nunes at the top, and there's not much else there. So maybe Nunes can hold on to this belt for a little while longer.
I think she does. But the weird thing is, the UFC, for those of you listening who don't know, they made a new division, a 145-pound division. The first fight's going to be at the Barclays Center. Holly Holm and some other woman whose name I cannot pronounce. She's French. She's like the number 8 bantamweight for some reason.
I'm not going to try to
She's getting the title shot against Holly Holm. It's a little strange. But I think we're going to see a lot of women bantamweight fighters go up to women's featherweight. So I think that whole 135, 145 pound, I don't know what's going to happen, because people like Cyborg who don't want to cut to 135, now maybe they'll fight at 145. And maybe you'll have straw weights coming up. Yeah.
There's a lot of implications, and that was something that I kind of, before the fight, I was really kind of like ingesting all of this, like the implications of that fight on like who the UFC is, and what their plans for 2017 are going to be. That was huge. Now Conor McGregor is their only megastar, right? And they have plenty of superstars. I think the UFC actually, their net star value after 207 was 0. They lost one in Ronda Rousey. They gained one in Cody Garbrandt. Right?
Yeah, but could they gain one in Amanda Nunes? Now everybody's like, ooh, look at this Brazilian badass knocking out Ronda Rousey like that.
Maybe. We'll see. But, Holly Holm. So Holly Holm got the rub from Ronda, right? And she headlined a card on Fox. She got to draw on Connor's card with Miesha Tate.
Right, that was
for her title fight, right? So she made a lot of money there. For Nunes, it's not as special. You can't market her as the Rousey killer because now it wasn't the first time we've seen her lose, so it's not the same.
It's not the same, but I think the way she did it is pretty spectacular.
It is.
I think she could easily headline a fight night. That's no problem. It'd be a title fight.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it'll be a title fight, so I don't know. I would say it's a solid co-main. Could even be a main on, like, a bad card.
Yeah. So, after the fight, Ronda Rousey storms off. Nunes, gives Edmund the hush-hush, starts jumping around, and then in her Octagon interview with Joe Rogan, basically said that Ronda Rousey... I mean, I actually only watched it the first time, but, she was not polite to Ronda Rousey post-fight.
Not exactly.
So, to me, I didn't like that. I felt, you don't need to kick a girl when she's down. And clearly Ronda Rousey didn't need anyone to tell her, you should retire, you suck. Mm-hmm. Like, she just didn't need that. We could have been just celebrating, Nunes, and she could have been,
right.
She didn't need to bring it back to Ronda. She really didn't need to do that. However, her offense after the fight is arguably much more understandable and less egregious than what Ronda Rousey did after the fight. So after you were done watching UFC 207, what were your thoughts about Ronda? Did you think that she was gonna do her post-fight press conference? Did you think she was gonna skip it? How did you feel about all that?
I kind of thought she was gonna skip it.
Yeah.
But I wanted her not to skip it.
I agree. Yeah.
And back to Amanda Nunes, did you see what she posted on Twitter?
I remember she posted something. What exactly?
It was bad.
I can
well, first of all, in the interview, she said, "Forget about Ronda Rousey," which was a little mean. She's excited, right. But she said, I think she said something like she did a lot for the sport. So everybody acknowledges that women's UFC would be nowhere if it wasn't for her. So we thank her for that, and now Amanda Nunes thinks she's the next big thing.
Yeah.
But the Twitter posts, it was a woman with a stroller with the baby inside, and she photoshopped Ronda's face onto the baby.
That's right.
She was holding the belt and the stroller.
Yeah,
which was a little uncalled for, but I think she's just trying to take publicity. She's trying to grow herself from that.
Here it is for you guys.
Which is a smart business move, maybe, but Ronda fans are gonna hate her for sure.
Yeah, I
don't think I love her. I'd like to see her lose.
I don't think there should be any more Ronda fans anymore, though. And after she lost the first time, and that sounded very harsh, and I mean for it to sound very harsh. After the first fight, she's like, everyone turned on me, the world turned on me, MMA media was mean to me, they were very unappreciative, everyone was horrible, and I didn't really understand that. It's like, were we? Like, no one thought less of Ronda Rousey as a person. I think the first time it was like, okay, listen, you took that loss horrible, but you know what? That's part of being a competitor. But this time, how she didn't do media before, and we all we still dropped our $60 or $70 to watch you fight, right? We it was fine. You got a pass. You didn't do media, and then you come out and you give us that showing, and you have nothing to say to your fans, to the people who supported you. Ronda Rousey ruined her. Ronda Rousey was a symbol of feminism. She was a pioneer in the sport, and she was someone that you could tell your daughter, hey, you can look up to Ronda Rousey, this inspirational woman who started this female, basically made females a part of a sport that females were previously not.
Yeah, 100%.
And you could say you can look up to this person. And after what she did here, after her last two losses and how she's responded, I'm not sure you can say that anymore. You can't say, you can't tell your daughter you can look up to Ronda Rousey. Because Ronda Rousey, that's not how you're supposed to handle yourself. You need to be a professional.
That's true, but I think you can't say that until you see what she does next. If she retires and doesn't say anything, I'm going to be a little upset. But if she comes back and fights again, she'll have to do the media next time, first of all. There's enough, I mean, she can't pull that again.
No.
But she said in her little 8-second media thing that she did, I don't care about the money, I don't care about how I look, I just want to win. And she didn't. So she didn't deliver on anything. She kind of put it all on the line, very similar to Conor. Right? Conor loses, he gets tapped out, he stays in there, he says, I'm humble in victory, defeat, I'll be back, gets his rematch, goes out there, beats the shit out of Nate Diaz, and now look at him.
Yeah, Conor was...
He's what you should have been.
Example A, or should I say example B after listening to Dominic Cruz. But Conor was obviously, everyone admires him more now. Conor's bigger now
if he lost,
with how he came
his
back.
image would have been totally destroyed.
Yeah.
He put it all on the line. And then, I mean, he showed respect to Nate at the end. And then he won his 2 belts, apologized to nobody. He said everybody liked to see him get knocked down. And then he said he's back and fuck everybody, which is his thing. Which is exactly what Ronda should have done.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. I mean, I want to play Dominic Cruz. Because
this was very interesting.
Yeah,
Cruz's whole mindset.
Yeah, so this is Dominic Cruz post-fight press conference. I'm literally gonna play you the first question of the press conference. It blows my mind. I mean, and I thought it was pretty ironic. The way Ronda. What happened with Ronda, how she ducked the media and disappeared and then let her mom put out a statement.
Yeah, that was a little weird, how her mom's talking at
TMZ. And then finally she put out a statement, but, we still haven't been able to ask her tough questions in since the loss to Holly Holm. Yeah. Anyway, listen to Dominic Cruz. Here it comes. Oh, you know what? My computer's muted. Let's try again.
Take 2, just like UFC. Conor, take 2. Got him.
Tough questions. In
oh
my God! And now this is since the loss to Holly. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here's Dominic Cruz.
Dominic, obviously a tough night for you tonight.
What was tough about it?
Walking away with the loss, of course.
Loss is part of life. If you don't have loss, you don't grow. This isn't tough. This is life.
What did you think about your...
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? This isn't tough. And then ready? Watch this. It gets better.
Some people said
it gets better.
Maybe you weren't quite at 100% tonight.
They're wrong. I was there. That was 100% me. I was healthy. I was everything I've always been in my eyes. I got caught in a couple transitions, and that's how it goes in this game.
You see?
That's how you should act.
I mean, okay, you can't expect that.
No.
You absolutely cannot expect that because that was unbelievable. Like, most fighters after they lose, they at least say, I had a bad night. I fought shitty, and, my training camp was this, and my ankle is hurt. That's fine, right? But, and then you see him kind of diagnosing why he lost. Like, Ronda just owes it to her fans, okay, who have supported her through this, to kind of answer for herself, to diagnose the loss, say this is what happened, or I'm gonna try to come back stronger. Thank you for your support. I'm sorry. There are a lot of things you can say, and just the fact that she's just turning her back on a lot of people who cared for her, and a lot of people who supported her, and that's just not respectable. And I think that if she comes back, she will have a lot less fans than she entered this fight with.
That's true. But I think anything she does now is going to be hard. If she wants to go act in a movie, people are going to be like, oh, Ronda Rousey. Like,
she's done. I don't know why she thinks. And did you hear what her mom said?
Yeah.
To TMZ Sports.
Mm-hmm. We'll pull that up.
Yeah. So Ronda Rousey's mom thinks that. So first she said, "Let the stupid people get punched." Sorry, stupid people. But let's take a listen to what Ronda Rousey's mom said.
So obviously, it was a tough loss for Ronda tonight. How is she feeling right now? Obviously, she's probably distraught. Can you give us more insight?
Well, she's, I think she's sad and disappointed like anybody would be in the circumstances.
Right.
So I think she's just trying to think about it right now.
Trying to think
which
about
is, I think, what anybody would do.
Now, everybody wants to know, is she going to retire?
I think, I think making snap decisions like that is probably not the best idea.
Right.
So I don't know.
What would you like to see her do? Retire or keep fighting?
I would like to see her retire.
Really?
I would have liked to see her retire a long time ago.
Why?
Who wants to see that kid
She's
get
still
hit?
so young.
Because she's got a lot of talent and a lot of other things.
Right. You want to see her just pursue movies?
Movies, writing, produce. She's really, really smart.
No, you're wrong. You're in
100%
La La
wrong.
Land. You're in La La Land if you think Ronda Rousey is a talented enough writer or actress.
And she already wrote a book. She wrote an
exactly.
autobiography. What else can she write about? Nobody cares what she says besides her story.
You're selling. Hollywood was buying Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey was this invincible killer. Okay, Hollywood doesn't want to buy this new Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, this is a loser.
She's not.
Who doesn't speak to anybody.
You think that it's her acting skills that are making Hollywood. That's why she was getting the movie offers, because she's some
terrible.
great actress.
Did you see Furious 7,
I didn't.
Entourage?
I didn't.
She was absolutely terrible. And I was a Ronda fan at that point. I was like, oh, it's Ronda. And after the movie, I was like, stick to fighting. And now she's going to leave. Judo she can do competitively.
Maybe.
But let's get back to this point. She is young. She's 28. So even if she takes, let's say, another year off, goes to a good camp, leaves Edmond, the bum, goes to a good quality MMA camp like Top Team, Black Zillions, whatever, gets a real MMA coach, she can easily become champion again. She needs to rework her strategy. I mean, nobody's that dominant and then just stops.
Yeah.
Stops doing what they were doing. If she gets back, all she needs to do is take the fight to... She needs to be Damian Maia. Oh, female Damian Maia. Just take the fight to the ground.
Right.
And I think she can do it.
Well, I object to the idea that she didn't try to take the Nunes fight to the ground. I think that, the way
That's true. She just got caught and then couldn't recover.
Yeah, and the way she gets her takedown, she doesn't shoot for double leg.
That's true.
She clinches and then she judo throws.
But I think that's also poor defense. I mean, her hands weren't really by her head. She
That
was
was
kind
the
of
problem.
straight up. There was no head movement. She was just standing right in front.
I
There
thought
was
it
no
was
angle.
Yeah, I thought it was her feet and her head.
Her footwork and her head movement
Yeah.
were both terrible. So, I mean,
Awful.
if she works on that, just clinch, throw him down, and boom, the fight's over. If you're Ronda Rousey, I mean, should be. She can armbar anybody from anywhere.
Right. And we make fun of Edmond, but actually I was in that Florida sports bar yelling, "Move your head, move your head." I mean, that's what I was yelling. I mean, not that I was like really rooting for Ronda, but
It was just hard to watch.
it
really
was hard to watch. It really was hard to watch.
I mean,
you do get a little bit concerned about her. But at this point, once again, in my head, she's made an enemy out of me, because I'm not one of those people who I thought, I didn't feel personally like she owes me an explanation. But for the people, I read an article, Bleacher Report article, titled "Ronda Rousey Got Me Pregnant." Okay.
I saw that.
You did see that. Okay, that was a very cool article. I mean, Ronda Rousey was this woman's hero.
Yeah.
She deserves an explanation.
That woman deserves an autograph or something.
Yeah.
And a heartfelt explanation. Like when Conor lost after 196, he had that giant post. And I liked it. I was like, great post, Conor. Come back, win. And exactly what he did. And that's what a role model, I don't know if we call Conor a role model, but in the eyes of, as an athlete, he is a perfect role model. Because he does what he says. He backs up everything he says. Ronda didn't say much, but she didn't back it up. She went out and got, totally beat. Which no one's blaming her for losing, but it's just the way she did it.
Right.
Like, have a little, like Dominic, at least, when he went out there, he said, I'm going to put it all on the line. This kid's got nothing, and then show him respect, whatever. He caught me. Great, fine. I'll, as a Dominic Cruz fan, that's a fine. I mean, first of all, BS, that's not what happened. But as a fan, I'd say, all right, I like how you're handling yourself. Just Ronda doing nothing, they wouldn't even let Conor do that at 200, right?
No, you see, here's the thing. Everyone is saying Dana White's a hypocrite because he pulled Conor off the card for not doing media and then didn't let Ronda do media. Not really. See, here's the thing. Conor made a deal, and this is what Dana White's always saying. These fighters don't understand a deal. So Conor said a deal the deal is I get paid this much for the fight. I do this media. I do that media. And Conor calls Dana 2 days before the fight and says, I can't come to the press conference. Dana White says, yes, you can come to the press conference. And then for Ronda, I think it was before the deal happened. The deal was that she wasn't going to do any media. So that's the difference. And a lot of people are saying that, and then you see the same thing with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson wants equal pay to Khabib. And we're going to get to that later, right after this question. Do you think we'll ever see Ronda in the octagon again?
That's a tough question. I want to say yes. As an MMA fan, I'm not really a Ronda fan, but I'd like to see her come back and win. I want to say yes. I mean, we can't throw her back in for a title shot. I think that would be disrespectful for the other people in the division. But,
yeah.
I mean, who's even the number one? She could fight like a Shevchenko, maybe. I don't know the rankings in the division because it's so crazy right now. But I think she owes it to herself just to come back and win. I mean, you can win and retire. I don't have a problem with that. But going out on 2 losses, I mean, Holly Holm just lost twice in a row. Now she's fighting for a 145 title.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get discouraged like that. Even if you went from so high up to so low, you just have to get over it and go out there and do what you do, which is compete.
Yeah, I think this is too big for her. I think this is too painful for her. So I actually think that she's going to end up pretty much sitting on her money. I don't know what she's going to do with her life. That's a separate issue. But I don't think she's fit to fight. I think she shouldn't, personally. And I think it's, it does, like I said, I'm really puzzled by this. People have been asking me what happened, and I don't know what to say because, I feel silly saying, look, she has no defense. Because, like, okay, well, you went 13-0. What do you mean? Like where was, how did no one expose this? But then you look at her career, I don't know. Has she... Maybe Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm, they probably are the 2 best strikers she's ever fought.
Definitely.
So I think that this is just how it is. And you know what? I just think that this is too much for Ronda. If Ronda can't take a loss, then Ronda needs to change businesses. Ronda needs to change careers if she can't take a loss.
Yeah, but I think this is going to haunt her forever unless she comes back and redeems herself. Anywhere she goes, people will be like, oh, Ronda. Like, you're still upset?
I want to think that. It's just like, can she... Like... I'm totally with you.
Of support people.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it is.
And maybe she needs like 3 years. Seriously.
3?
Maybe she needs 3 years. Maybe she needs to go be a Kermit for... I said Kermit instead of Hermit. Maybe...
like she's going to go act on the Muppets? Yeah, I mean,
Kermit
maybe she could
Frog.
do it.
But, maybe... I don't know, but my point is like, maybe she needs a sports psychologist, She needs something. She needs to go in prepared to lose. Exactly. You need to know that you can lose. It was kind of interesting seeing an interview with her before she fought Holly. Like, the confidence is on another level. Conor McGregor goes...
Confidence way too high.
Yeah, Conor McGregor goes, I'll knock you out in the first fucking round. That's one thing. Ronda Rousey, I think this is another level. They asked her what she thinks of Holly Holm. She goes, I like Holly Holm, Holly Holm's one of those girls. I think she's a sweet girl. So I hope, when she loses, she'll enjoy the money. She'll get as much as... Hopefully she'll get a lot out of the experience.
Oh
and she's talking literally with a certainty like, oh, I hope, after she loses, she's okay. Like, I'm really concerned about her after she loses because I like her. Like, the certainty that she had was incredible. Way past McGregor level.
Yeah, but the thing is, everybody made her believe that. Holly Holm was a plus 700 underdog. I don't know what Ronda was, probably like minus 1100. So I feel like when you're that star and you see your face everywhere, everybody's saying, oh, best fighter of all time. I mean, I'm not saying most people would do that, but I mean, she was spoon-fed that she was the absolute best.
Yeah.
Edmund, I don't know what kind of stuff Edmund was telling her, but I'm sure he was part of the problem. A lot of people say a lot of bad things about him, and now we see it coming to fruition. That he's just not a good coach, I think. I mean, what do I know? But I would like to see her go to like Dwayne Ludwig. Like Dillashaw made the move, and now he's great. Not that he wasn't great before, but if she did something like that, I would like to see how that played out.
We all
definitely.
I would like to see that too. I'm just saying, if you can't lose, get out. That's all I'm saying,
True.
So we'll see. I hope the best for Ronda. I don't respect what she's done. I think she needs to toughen up, and she needs to, answer some questions. I mean, she didn't have to before the fight, and we all still bought it. But now it's time. But let's transition to the rest of the UFC before I think I want to talk a little about Todd Bowles later in the show. Basically, you got a lot of stuff going on in terms of making fights. It's going to be an interesting 2017. I also want to ask you who you think the fighter of the year is in 2016. Okay. But it's going to be an interesting 2017. I think that the one thing we're seeing right now that I kind of want to address, you have Tyron Woodley and Michael Bisping.
Oh yeah, I saw that report.
Okay, you have Jose Aldo trying to. You have Cody Garbrandt. Okay, challenging McGregor and Jose Aldo.
And Aldo.
Yeah. You have Jose Aldo himself looking up to the lightweight division. And I think we're starting to see something very dangerous in this sport. And boxing really suffered the consequences. The point of UFC, basically in boxing, a perfect example is Mayweather and Pacquiao. You had the two best fighters in the world, the two biggest draws in the world, in the same weight division and didn't fight for 15 years.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
How crazy is that?
Being boxing.
The whole point of the UFC is you don't get to choose who you fight. And you have weight classes, and you have a champion, and you have a number one contender, and you have contender fights, and the winner of that fight fights the champion. You have structure. I have a very big problem with what's going on, and it's a trend that Conor McGregor started, but I don't blame McGregor. I blame everyone else for thinking that they're Conor McGregor. Yeah. Are you concerned like I am right now?
No, exactly. I think you hit it right on the head. When I saw that report, I was like, really? First of all, I don't think Bisping deserves to be champion. I thought he got lucky. So I hate Bisping. And then Woodley, how can you not give Wonder Boy a rematch? That's why I was really upset.
Well, you have clear fights to make. Here's the thing. Garbrandt needs to fight Dillashaw now. I mean, there's
a lot of question about that now.
Exactly. I mean, this is terrible. And then Garbrandt said that he would give Cruz a rematch. Whatever. Dana White really needs to.
But you know what I think it is?
Khabib needs to fight Tony Ferguson.
Exactly.
And this is on Tony, by the way, not Khabib.
Yeah.
And Tony keeps saying, bring it. But you don't understand. You don't get equal pay as Khabib. You made a deal. Now you've outperformed your deal, but that's why don't sign a long-term deal.
Yeah, that's
these guys are fighting 10-fight How dumb is this? Why are these guys signing 10-fight contracts? What if you go on a 9-fight win streak? Then you're getting paid for you're not getting paid. You're getting title shots. You're getting paid someone who is barely ranked.
I guess I don't know if it's a desperation thing. Maybe they think they're not going to be good, so let me sign a 10-fight contract. I'll be safe for 10 fights. But that's a poor attitude.
Yeah, it's all bad. So Tony wants equal pay as Khabib, and they're not making that fight. And then Holloway and Aldo need to fight. This is very simple. I'm concerned that we're not seeing these simple fights that need to be made. Now Romero needs to fight Bisping. These simple fights that need to be made, they're not being made.
Well, I think part of the problem is the new ownership. I don't know. I don't know too much about the new ownership, but to me, it seems like they're all about money, and they're kind of downplaying what MMA really. Well, not what it used to be, because it was just a shit show before, but what it's supposed to be. They just want. I think they looked at Conor McGregor and the numbers he's pulled, and they say, "Oh, let's have 2 belts here, catchweight bouts here, champion." But that's not what should be going on. It should be the champion defending his belt or her belt against the contender who's primed for a title shot.
Yeah.
Lawler needs to fight Damian Maia. Wonder Boy needs to fight Woodley. If you look at the rankings in the past fights, there are a lot of fights that need to happen. And now you have Tyron Woodley going to go fight Bisping. Is putting 2 divisions on hold. Is one of them going to take the loser's belt? Because that would make no sense. It's a stupid thing to do. Unless they can do it in a timely manner and then defend the belt. But that's not going to happen.
Dana White says it's all him. Dana White says that the new ownership just is not involved.
Yeah, but do you really believe that?
I actually do.
I would like to, but I don't know.
I actually do. I think that, one thing's for sure. The biggest problem to me with the new ownership is they represent some of the fighters. Like, they represent Ronda.
Yeah, that's a little shady.
So yeah, so that's kind of a problem, right? So if you look at like the privilege that Ronda got not to do media, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, she's got the leverage because the owners of the UFC represent Ronda. So, you know, they want what's best for Ronda, let's be real.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to address that because it's a problem. It's going to be an exciting new year. We have a new play-by-play commentator. We still don't know who that is. Jim Rome, Max Kellerman.
I hope it's not Jim Rome.
I hope it's not Jim. Everyone hates Jim Rome for no reason, so I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon.
That's true.
I hate Jim Rome. I hate him. Oh, he's the
Jim
worst. I don't know. He used to be more mainstream than he is now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know why they would bring in Jim Rome. I would think, like, I wouldn't be happy with, like, a John Anik, but at least someone who's been in the sport. I mean, Randy Couture, he used to commentate. He was a great commentator. I would be perfectly fine with him.
Well, they wouldn't use him for play-by-play. The biggest name that they mentioned was Max Kellerman from First Take, who does boxing. But I don't know how much he knows about MMA.
That's the thing. People just throw out these names like, oh, this guy.
No,
I don't know if they...
See, but it wasn't people throwing out the names. It was like you know, inside sources throwing.
Well, no, that's the problem. Do you think that's the new ownership though? Saying, oh, let's bring in a bigger draw. Let's bring in a big name. Well, for example, Stephen A. Smith. Let's say Stephen A. Smith comes. I hate him. Never would happen. But I think that would bring people like what? It would become more mainstream.
Well, they have a product to sell, so they're going to sell their broadcast. The TV deal's up at the end of this year. That's going to be the biggest turning point for the UFC.
100%.
You know, period. We don't know. Will they go to HBO? Will they get rid of pay-per-views? And you know, now every UFC fight is on free TV. We don't know what's going to happen. Will ESPN get the rights? Will FS1 retain the rights? Or Fox, for that matter? Yeah. Everything's going to change. So they think that without Goldberg, their product is worth more. You know, I guess they said that they want to get rid of the cheerleader style broadcaster.
Yeah, I saw that, but I don't know if I think the sport lends itself to that. I mean, when someone gets knocked out, what are you going to say? Ooh, what a nice knockout. You go crazy.
Well, you can say like you know, I'm trying to think of an example. You know, when someone doesn't look good, like Rogan would call him out. Mike Goldberg would basically be like, John Lineker, you know, looking in good shape and ready to go. You know, it's like,
yeah, I mean,
it's like, yo, can you say
Goldberg's
something?
Not great,
can you please say something of substance? Or are you just gonna be like, good right hand by Lineker. He's got to get up, or he's in danger of losing the round.
No, but I like that just because I don't think he's a great commentator, but I think the duo is funny because you have Joe Rogan with the substance saying, oh, he needs to do leg kicks, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then my Goldberg like, and Joe, Ronda Rousey is 5'4", and here we go. You know, he's just that guy who kind of tells everyone what the deal is, and Joe Rogan breaks down the fight.
There's funny videos on YouTube of, like, Joe Rogan, like...
shutting down Mike Goldberg.
Yeah, like
sometimes
compilations.
He says dumb shit.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny stuff.
Absolutely, it is.
So we're wrapping up the year. How was your New Year, by the way?
That's pretty good. Were you back for New Year's? Or you were
I was.
Still...
Yes, okay. Yes. I got back in time for New Year's. I had a pretty good New Year as well. You know, some good parts and some bad parts. I was on 3 hours of sleep for New Year's, and I thought that I was going to be able to kind of do it, but I had no double shot espresso, and it was I was not. I overestimated my ability to be awake, and you know, in good
understandable.
Think, you know, having
in
my
good
facilities.
Spirits then,
yes.
Yeah.
So who do you think is Fighter of the Year?
I saw an interesting thing about Fighter of the Year before, saying it should be Cody Garbrandt. And it's a compelling case because he went from, at the beginning of the year, I guess January 1st, I don't know when his first fight was of the year. I think it was pretty early. But January 1st, beginning of the year, he's an unranked bantamweight fighter.
Yeah.
Not that the bantamweight division is so stacked, but even so, now, last day of the year, is the champion.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And the way he did it, too. I mean, completely... Mizugaki, he KO'd, who was good. Almeida was undefeated, he KO'd. Mm-hmm. And then Dominic Cruz, he just totally beat him at his own game. So I think it has to be Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, just the fact that you start the year unranked and you end champion.
I think that's just unbelievable how anyone could go through that quick.
That's incredible. I mean, but you know, you have a lot of 3-0 fighters, and then you have Conor making history. But you know, even Nunes is a 3-0 fighter who became champion.
That was, I mean,
beat you know, Misha and Ronda, and Shevchenko earlier in the year. So you know, she was a candidate. Who else was in there? Oh, Bisping was also like a crazy story. I mean, you know, you can hate on Bisping all you want, but
I guess it was,
that's the same kind of thing. But we agree. I agree. Cody Garbrandt. I think, you know, I think he's a superstar. I thought that my prediction. I think you probably heard this. I thought that Cody Garbrandt was going to lose the fight, but eventually become champion.
Yeah.
Anyway, and
that's what a lot of people said.
Yeah. But you know, because what he did it so early. How about his defense? I mean, he dropped his hands and he was ducking punches like crazy.
I mean, when he was dancing around, it was awesome. It was like McGregor, I would say.
Yeah, it really was.
I don't think his style is the same, but the way he handles himself is pretty similar.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't have the poetic speech.
Yeah, he just kind of says, "No, you suck." But I mean, whatever. It's entertaining. But what I told you, I remember in the cafeteria one day, I said, "There's no way Cody can beat Dominic Cruz." I watched some Cruz fights. But I did say that Cody would take him down. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And we did see
and
Cody
take
like,
him down. Serious?
Yeah, you were like, he's a wrestler? And I was like, yeah.
Well, he was a good also, that takedown, did he have one? Let's see. Let's pull up the stats.
Yeah, let's pull it up. I think it was...
So he had... let's see. He had one takedown. It was he was 1 for 4. Dom was 0 for 7. So his takedown defense was awesome. Cody's one takedown, though, I loved it. It was like a really quick shot.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice takedown. As you can see, so Dom landed more strikes. I've actually never looked at the stats. This is interesting. So the 2 knockdowns really do it. You know, he had a higher percentage of total strikes. 2 knockdowns, yeah. Yeah. I think like there was another time where Dom was wobbled to the point where like maybe he put a hand on the ground.
I think there were multiple times where he was visibly hurt.
But look at that. This is so interesting. Dominic had more significant strikes. Lower percentage on both, though. More total strikes, more significant strikes. He didn't have a takedown. He didn't have an knockdown. He clearly lost the fight. You know, I just think it's interesting. Sometimes when you look at total strikes and significant strikes, it tells a bit of a different story. But this is, you know, obviously a big deal. Like I said, this guy is going to be a superstar, and I'm real excited for him. So
speaking of Cody Garbrandt, now, do you think he can beat Dillashaw? I mean, I hope that fight has to happen.
Yeah, I do. I think that Cody Garbrandt, I think
losing anytime
no,
soon?
at this point he's a monster. I mean, what he just did, I don't need to see him like prove himself anymore. At this point, he is a monster. I mean, his hands are so quick. He's got quick hands. He's got great power. What I didn't think he had was defense. He's been knocked out twice. And this was before he got to the UFC, but he was knocked out twice. So I'm like, you know, the guy's reckless. He's got no defense. He might knock some guys out, but we're going to see him get knocked out. But, I mean, after what he did yesterday, are we going to see him get knocked out? Probably not.
But then again, you know, you got Dominic Pillow Hands Cruz hitting him.
Yes.
So, I mean, Dillashaw is pretty much Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, he is. And
but I think he's more dangerous. Offensively, he's more dangerous.
Yeah.
His defense might not be as good, but what Dominic Cruz does is he makes his opponent angry. He kind of frustrates them, makes them take chances. But that's exactly what Cody did. He made Dominic miss. He made him take stupid chances and, you know, come to him. And then Cody was able just to counter everything beautifully. But Dillashaw has the cardio. I think it's very, very close. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I go with Cody. I've seen enough, basically. It's the kind of thing, it's like, okay, I've seen enough. I'm done. Cody. You know? That's the kind of thing with me. So we picked our fight of the year. Let's wrap up UFC like this. What's the fight that we're going to see in 2017? What's the number one fight you want to see in 2017?
The number one fight in 2017. It's hard to pick a number one. I would say it'd have to have Conor. It would be Conor versus the winner of Tony versus Habib, I think, would be... No, I mean, I hope it's Habib. If Tony wins, I won't really care. So Conor versus Habib, or Wonder Boy Woodley rematch I'm very excited for. I mean, there are a lot of fights I'm excited for. Garbrandt, Dillashaw, I hope happens.
We still got to see Rumble and Cormier. That's still going to happen.
I hate DC, so whatever. DC. I hope. I mean, John Jones is coming back. Ooh,
yes.
That's the fight I want to see.
Well, with who?
John Jones versus
Rumble. Well, you want to see him fight Rumble now?
Is he going to get a title shot right away?
I think so.
I would like to see a rematch with Gustafsson. I think that'd be crazy.
Well, Gustafsson needs to get his shit together. Gustafsson looked really bad, even though he won his last fight. I would have to say my number one fight of 2017. I want to see Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov fight in Russia in a fucking 100,000 seat stadium.
That would be
in like some kind of soccer stadium. I think that's what they got to make. You hear Dana White is talking about the UFC expanding into Russia. He wants to get into Russia and China. He wants to get into those markets. So
it's a good idea.
Let's do Khabib and Conor in Russia. That'd be awesome.
And do you think Conor wins? Just a quick prediction.
Yes, I do, because I think
just have to double check.
Yeah, I mean we just saw Johnson. He tagged Nurmagomedov on the feet.
Yeah, that's what everybody's
in the first
talking
round.
About.
Everyone should be talking about that. I mean, if you're gonna get hit by
Michael Johnson is not a slouch, but I mean Conor.
Yeah.
But the only thing that worries me is since Conor is so good at counter striking, Khabib is definitely sloppy, and he could definitely pick him apart. What if Khabib just goes straight for a takedown? Can Conor stop it?
If Khabib goes straight for a takedown,
let's just say he comes out flying knee.
I think it's a lot about distance.
Boom, takedown.
If you looked at Eddie Alvarez's, I mean, I don't want to break down this fight completely before it's even going to happen. Right. But if Conor just manages distance, you can't just like shoot from, far away. True. You got to get inside anyway.
Yeah, he's smart.
The NFL playoffs our scenarios are set. But the news, I know you're a Jets fan. Another big piece of news coming out recently after the Jets Week 17 game. They are going to retain head coach Todd Bowles for the 2017 season. How do you feel about that?
Terrible. Pretty much, I would say how I feel every year after the Jets have a losing season and don't make the playoffs. I mean, they're just so bad. There are so many poor decisions that have been made. I think, honestly, I would say get rid of Bowles just almost symbolically because I want to build a whole new team. I want to cut Revis or, new contract. He's no way he's getting paid that much, or transition him to safety. That could work.
Yeah.
Marshall said he would take a pay cut, so I have no problem keeping him. Decker, fine. Anunua, fine. Forte, I don't think we really need at this point. I think Bilal Powell would be fine. He's been a stud the past few weeks, and Forte's getting paid a lot. He's on the way out. That's why we got him, so easily in the first place. So, Todd Bowles, he's staying. I mean, people say, he's a good coach, whatever. You can never really tell, with coaches if they really have a handle on the team or not. I think that, at least the DBs didn't go rogue. So I think if he's going to be there is fine, but he needs players that can win.
Yeah.
And I think this team, they were just like, for example, Sheldon Richardson, I think he's a I don't want to say dirty, but he's a dumb player. He's not a team player. So I think we don't need someone like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leonard Williams is someone I love. That's someone we need to have for a long time. Someone like Anunua, a good guy. We need to build a smart team. And right now, the Jets, I think, they've made a lot of bad decisions, especially at quarterback. I don't know how that's going to play out if we're going to draft one at 6. Maybe. I don't think that's really smart.
Yeah.
But, I guess I really don't know what's going to happen at quarterback. I have no idea.
So you're blaming the players more than Todd Bowles?
I am, but over anything else, I'm blaming the front office. I think there are just too many dumb decisions.
Okay. So here's my take on the Jets retaining Todd Bowles. So a lot of people like to talk about if it's his fault or not. And people always go into this when a head coach gets fired. Is it his fault? Who cares if it's his fault, right? The way a decision should be made when you're looking at hiring or firing a coach, Will firing help our football? Will firing this coach help our football team? Not if he deserves to be fired or not. Because the answer, does he deserve to be fired? I don't know. I'm not there. Maybe
exactly.
not. Maybe not. Right? But why does that matter? Right? My mom's in HR. So when you're not performing well, right? Because she talks about this stuff all the time. You basically, you get a tap on the shoulder. Hey, you're on our watch list. You gotta start performing better. Okay? If you don't start performing better, you're gone. Okay? And that's how it's gonna work. That's if you're not performing well. But then there's also other scenarios where you can do something and that's it. It's a fireable offense. Okay? Sexual harassment, watching porn in the office.
Todd Bowles has not been doing any of that. We think.
You're late every day. You're not doing any work. Okay, these are like fireable offenses. You're done. That's it. To me, Todd Bowles, what we saw this season, it's just that's a fireable offense. That's it. When it's Monday Night Football and you're playing the Colts on national television, okay, and you go out in that first quarter and you're not ready to play and you're not putting the effort in and you don't even retain. People are leaving the stadium.
I left at halftime.
You left at halftime. Exactly. When you are embarrassing yourself on national television, that's a fireable offense. Absolutely. That's it. You're done. That's not allowed. You need your players to be working hard. And this was something that was actually some of the players they admitted that there was a problem with the New York Jets fight. And this is a quote by Lorenzo Malden. He said the team, and I'll just show it to you guys just to make sure. It's here, I'll highlight it here. He said basically the team didn't have the same spark as last year. We didn't fight like we did last year. I mean, if you can't get your team to fight, you're done.
Well, I mean, if you watch a Jet game and they ever pan over to Todd Bowles, he is silent. I've never seen him actually be, vocal, which is why I never liked him in the first place. I've always said you need like remember the Titans, Denzel is the kind of coach you need inspiration. I mean, the team wasn't a good team, but even so, if you have an inspired team that's fighting hard, you're going to do better than the Jets did this year. Right. They just didn't have the spark. I mean, the defense, when the Jets were supposed to have a good secondary, they were like 30th in yards allowed after week 5, which was totally ridiculous. I mean, Revis, we can't pin it all on Revis. I mean, he's overpaid and he's old, but the people have to step up. I mean, there were just so many mistakes. I mean, so many heartbreaking losses that I think the team just kind of died. Yeah. Even after week 1. I said it last time I was here when we talked about the Jets. The Jets lost their season week 1 when they lost to the Bengals that way. It was just typical Jets performance when they should have won, had it in the bag, and they blew it.
Yep.
I mean, if they just stepped up their game and won when they should have won, they could have. I mean, the Dolphins are in the playoffs right now. The Jets' talent could easily beat that team.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. So.
The other New York team playing this weekend in the playoffs, wild card game against the Packers. The New York Giants will be in Green Bay. Who do you got for that game?
Packers, and it won't be close. I'm gonna say Rodgers can handle the pass rush. Rodgers can pick apart the defense.
I agree with you. And the Giants' defense, they've been great. They absolutely have been great. Yeah. They're also 23rd in pass yards allowed. I looked it up because when I thought about that defense, I thought about they're a great run stopping defense, but the Packers don't run.
And now you have to take into account the no JPP, right? He's out for I don't know how long, but definitely not going to be there this weekend.
They've actually been okay without him, but
yeah, that's true. But even so, I think that just I just don't think the Giants have the weapons.
Yeah,
I think Odell. This is going to be a quick take for everyone listening that knows I hate Odell. I hate Odell. I think he's going to get fired up, and I can guarantee one flag on Odell for being stupid this weekend. And, Eli Manning. There was a quote by someone on the Patriots. When David Tyree caught that ball, I forgot the name. I'll have to find it later. But someone said the most annoying thing about that game was watching unathletic Eli Manning's fat body run across the field and celebrate after David Tyree caught that ball, which I think is the epitome of the Giants. They just, I'm going to hate on the Giants because I just don't
That's
like
okay. That's okay.
all the fans are going to be angry.
Yeah.
They, everyone's, they beat the Cowboys twice. They're unstoppable.
Uh-huh.
I don't think the talent is really there. I just think they always find a way to win, just getting lucky almost. I don't think it's not like finding a way, like digging deep. I just think the cards always fall right, and I don't know how they do it. Eli Manning, if you watch him in the regular season, last year I remember he threw 5 picks in one game. I was like, people say this is a superstar quarterback. Eli Manning isn't a superstar.
I see where you're coming from. I feel the same way. They've gotten hot twice at the right time, but we'll see what they do in Green Bay, and then the winner of that gets Dallas. Tomorrow will be my I'll do my NFL playoff preview tomorrow. So get ready for that. We're actually out of time over here. It's been a great show. Lots of UFC. It was it was a crazy weekend. There's so much to unpack with Ronda. But it was a lot of fun. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, we'll see you next Monday. As always, be ready for quick takes throughout the week. Hope you enjoyed, guys, and I'll see you next time.